Welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're tackling one of the biggest headaches for anyone learning ancient Greek, but we're going to do it by honing in on one tiny, kind of unassuming but unbelievably powerful word. It's basically a secret key to unlocking the whole language.
All right, let's just jump right in. If you've ever cracked open a Greek textbook, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It feels like you're staring at this giant puzzle where all the words keep changing their shape from one sentence to the next.
But what if I told you there's a guide hidden right there in plain sight? A single word that, once you know how to spot it, tells you pretty much everything you need to know about all the other words around it.
And this is really the heart of the problem, isn't it? See, in English, word order is king. It tells you what's what. But in Greek, nope. It's all about the word endings, this system called inflection. So how on earth are you supposed to keep track of all that?
Well, turns out you have a secret weapon. So let's bring out the hero of today's explainer, the definite article. Seriously, this thing is about to become your new best friend for reading Greek.
So what are we even talking about here? It's simple, really. It's just the Greek version of our word the. But what's really interesting is that Greek has a word for the, but it doesn't have a word for a or an. And that's a pretty big difference right out of the gate.
Okay, check this out. Here's its most basic job in action. You've got the article here, and it hooks up with the noun for man. Together, they don't just mean any man, they mean a specific one, the man. Simple enough, right?
Okay, so here's the catch. Of course, there's a catch. This one little word doesn't just have one form. Oh no, it has a bunch of them. But don't freak out, I promise. We're going to make this super easy to get your head around. Whoa. Okay, I know. At first glance, this chart looks absolutely terrifying. I totally get it. But listen, you do not need to memorize all of this at once. The real trick is learning to see the patterns. So let's break it down, piece by piece. Let's start easy. We'll just look at the masculine forms. See, you've got singular over here and plural over there. You'll see the form for the singular subject and the one for the plural. These are going to be your go-to articles anytime you see a masculine noun. Okay, next up, the feminine forms. Same deal, singular and plural. Now, here's a cool pattern to look for. See that T sound? It shows up in almost every single form except for the nominative, the subject form. That's a great little clue. And last but not least, the neuter forms. And hey, here's an awesome shortcut for you. With neuter words, the subject form and the direct object form are always identical. So you've got one for singular and one for plural, and that's it. You see? When you break it down like this, that giant, scary chart suddenly seems way more manageable, doesn't it? And here's another fantastic tip to make memorizing this stuff way easier. If you look closely, you'll notice that a lot of these article forms are basically just the noun endings you're already trying to learn, but with that T sound, the tau, stuck on the front. How cool is that? Okay, so now that we've met all its different disguises, let's get to the really exciting part. What can this word actually do for you? I like to think of it as having 3 superpowers.
Superpower number 1, it specifies. Remember how we said Greek doesn't have a word for a? Well, that means a noun all by itself could mean brother or a brother. It's kind of vague, but the second you add the article, boom, you're pointing to a very specific one, the brother. All right, superpower number 2. And listen up, because this one is absolutely crucial. The article always agrees with its noun. Think of it like a perfect dance partner. It always matches its noun's every move. Let's take a look at an example.
So that little article at the front, it's basically a cheat sheet. Just by seeing it, you instantly know that the noun that follows has to be the subject. It's singular and it's masculine. It just gives you all that grammatical info right up front, no guesswork needed. And get this. This isn't some one-off trick. It works every single time for every combination. So you see that other article form there? You immediately know, without a doubt, that you're looking at a dative, singular, feminine noun. It's an unbelievably reliable pattern. Okay, now for what I think is its most impressive power of all. Superpower number 3. It distinguishes between words that look confusingly similar. This is where the article goes from being just helpful to being an absolutely essential decoder ring. Okay, take a look at these 2 words. Notice how they both have the same ending. Now, if you're just starting out, you'd be totally forgiven for thinking they have the same job in the sentence. I mean, they look the same, right? But do they? And this is where the magic happens. The second you put the article in front of him, all that confusion just vanishes. One article tells you the first word is neuter and plural. The other article reveals the second word is feminine and singular. Just like that. Two words that looked identical are now crystal clear, and it's all thanks to that little article.
Okay, one last quick tip for you. The article is always going to come before its noun, but it might not be right before it. Check out this example. You see the word for thee at the beginning and the word for widow way over at the end. All those little words in the middle are just extra details. The big takeaway is that article at the start still belongs to its noun, even if there's a little bit of space between them.
All right, so after all that, let's just take a step back for a second and pull it all together. Let's talk about why this one tiny word is maybe the most valuable tool you have for cracking the code of ancient Greek.
Really, it all boils down to this. The definite article does 3 critical jobs for you. First, it specifies which noun we're talking about. Second, it gives you that complete grammatical cheat sheet by matching its noun's case, number, and gender. And third, it solves the puzzle of those tricky words that look the same but are totally different.
So if you take away one thing today, let it be this. The article isn't just another vocabulary word you have to memorize. It's your roadmap. It's a giant flashing arrow that points directly to a noun and tells you everything you need to know about who that noun is and what it's doing in the sentence. And if this one tiny word can hold so many clues, well, just imagine what other secrets you're ready to find now, right?